In today's video, we will see how to calculate the period of oscillation in simple harmonic motion systems. By the end of this video, you will understand how to calculate period of systems executing simple harmonic motion. The equation of motion of a system executing simple harmonic motion is given by the following: minus omega squared x. This x specifies the coordinate of the object executing simple harmonic motion. The double dot here signifies a time derivative of the second order, like that. Omega is the angular frequency of the system. And as we know, angular frequency is related to period of oscillation in a following manner. So if you know omega, you can figure out t, the period. The angular frequency omega can usually be expressed in terms of intrinsic parameters of the system executing the simple harmonic motion. For example, if the system consists of a mass m attached to a spring with a spring constant k, then omega, the angular frequency, is quite simply the square root of k over m. Following this line of thought, we will consider two examples to show how to calculate the period of systems executing simple harmonic motion. Problem 1. The vertical U-tube has a constant internal cross-sectional area A. It contains a total length of liquid, capital L. Find the period of oscillation T of the liquid in the tube. Neglect friction and assume that the amplitude of oscillation is such that the liquid surfaces remain within the straight vertical sections of the tube. The first diagram indicates the system at equilibrium. That is the equilibrium marker. Now let's assume you create a pressure difference between this section and that section of the tube in such a way that the level on the left-hand side section goes down and the level of the liquid on the right-hand section goes up. The level on the left-hand arm of the tube goes down by distance x from the equilibrium position, and that means the liquid column on the right-hand side of that U-tube should rise by the same amount x as well. Now let's look at the pressure difference due to that liquid column. That length is 2x. So the pressure difference can be written as the density of the liquid times gravitational acceleration times 2x. As the level of the liquid rises on the right-hand arm, there will be a force pushing it in an opposite direction due to the effect of gravity. And that forces the liquid on the left-hand arm to rise like that up until a certain amount, and the same thing would happen. The force would push it like that, and the oscillation would continue. This is the simple harmonic motion of the system. As you can see, as the x goes up, the force acts in an opposite direction. So we have a sort of a restoring force. What is the expression for the force? Now we know force equals pressure, in this case the pressure difference, times the cross-sectional area of that tube A. So you see the force in this case, remember it is a restoring force, so there will be a minus there. The pressure difference is given by rho g 2x times the cross-sectional area. By Newton's second law, this is mass times the acceleration, and the acceleration is written in terms of that x coordinate. In this case, x is measured as the distance the liquid column rises above the equilibrium level. Now note there is a 2 dot as we have discussed earlier. That means it is d2x dt squared. Let's rearrange this equation. You have x dot equals minus rho g 2a over m x. Obviously, this is in the form of x double dot minus omega squared x. So that term, namely this term, is omega squared, the square of the angular frequency. Let's simplify that term. That term in the bracket will become rho is density. Density is the mass of that liquid over volume of the liquid times gravitational acceleration times 2 times the cross-sectional area over mass. So m goes away. Also note the volume of that liquid column equals the length times the cross-sectional area of the tube. So you can replace V with L times A, and now the A will go away. So this equation right here can be rewritten in the following manner. G times 2 over L times minus x equals x double dot. So this is omega squared, the square of the angular frequency of the system. Since omega squared equals 4 pi squared over t squared, and that we can equate to 2 times g over L, and we can solve for capital T, the period. Solving for capital T from this equation, you get t squared equals 4 pi squared L over 2g. That means the period of oscillation in this case is the square root of that term, which is 2 pi square root L over 2g. And that's the answer. Indeed, we can also rewrite it in a slightly different form by bringing the 2 inside the square root, and that's going to be t equals to pi square root 4L over 2g. So that will cancel that to give you 2. That means the final answer is 2L over g. Square root of that times pi is indeed the period of the oscillation. Problem 2. A flat disk, that is this one right here, the radius of which is capital R and mass is capital M, is suspended at its rim with a torsion wire with torsional constant capital K is shown. Find the period of torsional oscillation T. So the kind of oscillation that you have, this is the plane of that disk, and this is the axis of oscillation. So as it oscillates in that manner, if that red colored disk is the new position of that disk as it oscillates, so the oscillation can be measured by this parameter theta. So in this case, the simple harmonic motion is characterized by an angular coordinate. And because it involves rotation about that axis, it's natural to talk about torque. And in this case, the torque is given by minus the torsional constant K times that angular displacement, theta. But we also know, according to Newton's second law for rotation, torque can be written as the moment of inertia of this body about an axis passing through, like that, times the angular acceleration, where the angular acceleration alpha is d2 theta dt squared, or simply theta double dot. So let's proceed to write alpha in that manner, theta double dot. Equating these two terms, you get moment of inertia times theta double dot equals minus k theta. Now what we have to do is to calculate the moment of inertia of this flat disk. Now, the moment of inertia that we are interested in is the moment of inertia about that axis. Let's take this axis to be the y-axis, that one to be the x-axis, so the z-axis is coming out of the plane, like that. As we know, the moment of inertia for such a flat disk of radius r and mass m the moment of inertia about the z-axis is given by half mr squared. The moment of inertia for such a disk about the y-axis by symmetry must be the same as the moment of inertia about the x-axis. Now according to the perpendicular axis theorem, the moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to its plane, in this case iz, is equal to the sum of the moments of inertia about any two mutually perpendicular axes lying in the plane, in this case iy and ix, therefore the sum. Since iy equals to ix, and this I here refers to iy, this equation can be rewritten in a following manner. Iz equals 2 times iy. But iz is that. So what that means is iy is 1 over 4 mr squared. Substituting iy in here will give us the following. 1 over 4 mr squared theta double dot equals minus k theta. And let's solve for theta double dot. You get minus 4k over mr squared theta. So what we have here is the equation of motion for simple harmonic motion, like that. So this term is the square of the angular frequency. So angular frequency squared, which is 4 pi squared over t squared, equals 4 times k over mr squared. So that 4 will cancel that 4. And solving for t squared, you have pi squared mr squared over k. So that means the period capital T is pi r square root m over k. And just like that, we have obtained the period of oscillation for the simple harmonic motion of this system. And that solves the problem. Thank you for watching.